Hey there, if you've ever felt completely drained from the constant, nonstop effort of trying to make everyone else happy, then this is for you. We're going to dive into the psychology of people pleasing, and more importantly, how we can start to find our way back to ourselves.
So let's just start with a question that gets right to the point. Do you ever feel that deep, bone deep exhaustion that comes from always trying to be the good person for everyone in your life? If you're nodding right now, I promise you, you are not the only one.
We have this idea that burnout or depression comes from some kind of personal flaw. But what if that's totally backwards? What if this feeling of being completely overwhelmed isn't because you're too headstrong, but actually because you're too accommodating, too obedient? And that idea leads us right into our first section here, the good person burnout. Yeah, this is for anyone out there who never makes a fuss, who always goes with the flow, and keeps saying yes with a smile, even when every part of you is screaming no. Let me tell you about this one case, a 28-year-old woman. On the surface, she was the perfect daughter, always did what her parents and teachers wanted. She had this passion for art, but she buried it and chose a safe accounting job because her parents told her art had no future. She even got into a relationship with a guy she didn't even like just because they approved of him. At work, with her friends, her answer to everything was always yes. And then one day, she just collapsed, right there in her office. The diagnosis? An anxiety-induced fainting spell. And her question to her therapist was so heartbreakingly simple. I've been so good my whole life, so why do I feel so awful? Her story really gets to the core of our next section, which is, why do we even learn to do this? This isn't some flaw in your character. It's actually a survival strategy, one that we usually pick up so early in life we don't even know it's happening. A lot of the time, the root of it is something called conditional love. It's what happens when a child learns that love isn't just a given, it's something you have to earn. You hear things like, if you keep crying, mommy won't love you anymore, or you're making me so disappointed. That's not just discipline. To a kid, it feels like a threat. And when you experience that, your young mind, which is just trying to figure out how the world works and how to stay safe, starts to form this really powerful unspoken rule. And this is the basic equation it comes up with. Obedience equals safety. Doing what they want equals acceptance. And the flip side? Well, disagreeing or having my own needs or saying no, that's dangerous. That could lead to getting in trouble, or even worse, being abandoned. So, what do? We learn to suppress the real us. We push down our actual feelings, our true desires, our genuine needs. We learn how to play a role, the good kid, the easygoing friend, the dependable employee, all in the hope that if we just play our part well enough, we'll finally be safe and loved. But this constant act, this lifelong habit of putting everyone else's needs before your own inner voice, well, it has a name. It's a chronic betrayal of the self. You end up living a life that might look great from the outside, but it feels empty inside, because the real you is nowhere to be found. And that brings us to the very real fallout from all of this. Let's get into our next section and really look at what happens. The high cost of yes. Because even though we're just trying to keep the peace, the internal price we pay is, well, it's huge. I mean, just look at the difference here. The goal always seems so reasonable, right? We just want to be liked, we want to keep things calm, we don't want to let people down. But look at the reality. We lose our own identity. We live with this constant background noise of worry and internal debates. Psychologists call it mental friction. And where does all that friction lead? Straight to chronic anxiety and complete and total burnout. See, when you betray yourself for long enough, when you consistently silence your own voice, your body starts to speak up for you. It protests. This is where the anxiety comes from, the depression, the not being able to sleep. It's even where you get physical symptoms that doctors can't explain. It's a process called somatization. Basically, your emotional stress starts showing up as physical pain, like migraines or stomach problems. It's your body's last-ditch effort to scream what your mouth feels it can't say. So this is the big question, right? How do we stop this cycle? That's what our next section is all about. The courage to say no. And listen, this is not about becoming a selfish person. It's about becoming an authentic person. It's about taking your own life back. So how do we start? First, just awareness. That's it. Just start noticing without judging yourself when you say yes, even though your gut is telling you no. Second, create some distance. Gently start to notice which people always leave you feeling drained and just find small ways to create a little space. Third, and this is the big one, you have to embrace the courage to be disliked.
You have to accept that setting a boundary might make someone unhappy, and that is okay. And finally, you practice. Start small, say no to something tiny, build that muscle on the low-stakes stuff first. This right here is the core belief you need to tattoo on your brain. Your life is for you. It is not a performance you put on for an audience hoping they'll clap. It's yours. All right, finally, let's talk about building ourselves back up. Because it's not enough to just stop people-pleasing. You have to start actively nurturing yourself. This is how we recharge and build an internal energy source that doesn't depend on anyone else.
Think of these as your new fundamentals. Start with just accepting yourself right now, exactly as you are, quirks, flaws, the whole deal. Carve out some kind of solitary space, even if it's just 5 minutes alone in your car, where you can recharge without any outside noise. Actively choose to spend time with people who lift you up, not people who drain you. And give yourself permission to just say how you feel. And most of all, please, let yourself off the hook. You don't have to be perfect. So I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Just imagine it for a second. What would actually change in your life, your job, your friendships, your health, if you took all that energy you spend managing what other people think and you invested it back into just being true to yourself? And please, remember this. You've spent so much time looking for approval out there in the world, chasing it like it's some distant light. But you don't need to chase the light. You are the light. All that warmth and value and love you've been looking for, it's already inside of you, just waiting for you to come back home to it. Thanks so much for being here.